consistently attract soulmate clients, begin showing up on brand, monetizing on your calling. Welcome all spiritual coaches, leaders, healers, light workers, and practitioners to a show that turns you on in your business and amplifies your magnetism. I'm host, catalyst, and spiritual business coach Rosalind Fung, and I'm here to journey with you into the juicy and help you discover where the real gaps are. Ignite your mindset and soul with strategies and systems as each episode takes you to the sweet spots that activate your soulgasmic business. Enjoy this light language activation as we begin to magnetize and monetize.
Hello, loves. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am so deeply honored to have you choose to listen to this episode. If you enjoy this episode, please do leave a review. Take a screenshot of this podcast cover and shout me out on social media so more people can tune in and be ignited and activated as well. On Instagram, it's Bold Sexy Warrior, and on Facebook, it's Rosalind Fung Coaching Bold Sexy Warrior. So, in my experience as a visionary business soul coach, I have witnessed many healers and light workers struggle to monetize their spiritual gifts because they haven't quite accessed their inner permission to receive the financial prosperity that is your birthright. So if you resonate with this, then you'll want to download my free digital guide that I created just for you to unlock the 3 activation codes that allows healers, light workers, and coaches to activate inner permission to monetize on your calling. So you can go to www.7figureconfidence.com/soulgasmic. Now on to today's show. Let me ask you a few questions and see if this resonates with you. How do you discern between your soul's authentic voice and your ego? How do you not let yourself be defined by the past and shift into the true embodiment of your soul's light? And how do you create wealth no matter what? Well, my loves, I have my soul sister all the way from Cyprus, Europe. And she is my special guest today, Alexia Vlahos Kolokasides. I'm totally going to butcher her name, so I'm going to try this. It is the most beautiful name, and I think, Alexis, you'll need to share.
I'm sorry.
Alexis, can you share your last name? I just totally cannot say it the same way you do.
It's Kolokasides.
Kolokasides. See? So much nicer. And Alexis is the CEO and founder of Ripple Effects, a fast-growing coaching business that she created while working from home as a mom to 2 young kids. She is an intuitive, transformational soul journey coach for women, light worker, heart activator, and code keeper. She helps conscious women realign to their soul's design and embody their truest power to live their authentic purpose. Alexis activates women's hearts, which catalyzes organic healing, growth, and expansion on all levels. While Alexia was in corporate for 15 years and pregnant with her second child when she made one of the biggest and scariest decisions of her life to follow her calling and her spiritual evolution. Through a vision and a dream, she received the instructions of what she now calls her life's purpose. It is her deepest desire to ignite the hearts of millions of women to sync up with their soul and become a co-creator of their most powerful vision for their life. With 10 years in the coaching field, she combined the power of neuroscience, growth mindset coaching, intuitive guidance, light and energy mastery, and heart-activated living to guide her clients towards a future that excites every part of their being every single day. She shows women how to live in sync with their soul. Welcome, love. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much, Rosalind. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm really, really excited for today. So honored. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And we met because we got introduced to us by another beautiful, intuitive soul coach. And
Yes.
I was honored to be on your summit. And so I'm like, you need to come on to my podcast too. I just
Yay.
love what you're about and your beautiful energy and your gifts. So thank you so much for being here. And my
Thank you so much.
apologies. I called you Alexis. I meant to say Alexia.
That's okay. It's
So
okay. You wouldn't be
names
the
are very
first.
important. So, my love, can you share with us how you got to be who you are today and do what you do?
That's Yeah. I'll try and keep it short and sweet, but you know how these stories go.
Please
I
take your
was
time.
actually born and raised in South Africa. I'm the third of four daughters, and all my childhood life growing up, I always felt like I was the odd one out. You know, I always got my sister's hand-me-downs. I always got the second, the second pair of shoes, not the new stuff, not the shiny stuff, and it left a bit of a dent in my spirit, in my heart, right? But to be honest, I was also always the black sheep, the rebel, right? Always doing what felt that was right for me, always speaking up and sharing my voice, my truth, and really like doing my best to do what felt right for me. For example, when I was 16, I started kickboxing, and my mom, she wouldn't have it. She hated the concept of me going out and doing contact fighting in a ring, and possibly getting hurt. And she was hell bent on it being a boys' sports, but it gave me so much life, and it gave me so much. It awakened my body in another like dimension. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the fitness. I don't know if it was being part of that community, but it just helped me to stay grounded into who I truly was, and to really stand up for myself, right? So that was just one example. And then when I was 21, we left Cyprus. My dad decided to move. We left South Africa. Sorry, my dad decided to move us over to Cyprus. So we're Greek. My dad is Greek, and my mom is from Cyprus. That's why the surname. And we moved here, and I got a job in corporate. I was in corporate for 15 years. It was great, right? It paid the bills. It had me in a beautiful space, but there was always something in my heart that was telling me, this is not where you're going to be for the rest of your life. And there were ladies in the office that were there from their 20s until 60s, and I was like aghast, at that reality, and I just couldn't sit. I couldn't digest it for myself, and it was just that thing that was actually telling me, Alexia, this is not for you. This is not for you. You're here for more. And I didn't know what that more was. So I stumbled into coaching in 2011 when I had gone to a specialist osteopath because I was experiencing pain in my body, running down the backs of my legs, both legs, whenever I was standing at the fax machine or at the basin washing dishes, or just like standing in a stationary position. I had a lot of pain shooting down from the top of my hips, down all the way down to the back of my legs to the heels. I went to doctors, specialists. Nobody could find anything, anatomically or physically wrong with me. They couldn't diagnose anything. And then I started Googling, old Google, and I found...
Good old Google.
Yes, I found a website that had very interesting insoles, the orthotics that you put in your shoes
Yes.
to balance out your foot, how it sits on the ground or in your shoe. And these were very, very high-tech style orthotics. So I sent them an email. That specific store was based in Lebanon, and I sent them an email to tell them about my problem, because perhaps I thought it was because of the soles of my feet. And like within a couple of minutes, somebody called me, and it was a doctor, an osteopath, that was in Nicosia. So Nicosia is about 2 hours away from where I stay. And he just said to me, I got your email, you have to come and see me. And off I went. The next couple of days, I went and I saw him. And we had a few sessions together. I got the insoles. But when I finished therapy with him, like after 4 treatments of in-office therapy, my problem had gone away. The pain in my feet had gone away. And it was not because of the insoles. The insoles were still a couple of weeks in the making, right? So on my last session, I made a point of looking at his certificates on the walls and what he was qualified in. And one of them said NLP. I didn't know what NLP was, so I went and I Googled again what NLP was, and I discovered what neuro-linguistic programming actually is. And that intrigued me very, very much. So I did another Google search on NLP, and then I came to a institution that was giving trainings in Dubai. So I sent an email to this institution, and somebody emailed me back directly. It was a trainer, the owner and trainer of that institute. And there were so many synchronicities, Rosalind, it was crazy. He had lived in South Africa for a couple of years. And then he was also living in the same town as me, as in Cyprus, in Paphos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, total crazy stuff, right? So he had told me in his email that I'm writing to you directly because it just has to be that way, because there's too many things that are coincidences but not coincidences, right? For him to pass it on to an employee or an assistant coach. So anyway, long story a little bit short, I went and I did the training. It was in October of 2011. It was 10 amazing days in Dubai. Back then I didn't have kids, so it was an easy decision to go. And my husband was very, very supportive of me, and it changed my life. It really, really changed my life. It showed me it showed me another doorway, that through that doorway was actually where I was supposed to be, that my soul's calling was to actually help people and help people transform their lives, and to see things through a different lens, to see things through the lens of, the truth, their soul, their light, how they have been created, and not through the programming that we were so accustomed to while growing up. And then, so I came back from that training and I was ready to change the world, but we all know it doesn't work that way, right? When we come back into our environment, I got comfortable again, and I was still in my corporate job. And then I had my first baby, Christianos, and I stayed in corporate for another 4 years, and I was trying to do the coaching on the side, which was very difficult with a new baby and working full time. So needless to say, nothing happened. And then I fell pregnant with Sophia, with my second born. Now, Sophia, I don't know if you know, or if your audience is familiar with the Christ consciousness and the feminine and the masculine Christ consciousness. When I came into the knowing...
Please do explain it.
Okay, so there's a feminine and a masculine Christ consciousness that lives, in spirit, and that should be living inside of us, and that we can have access to. But I only came to this wisdom a few years ago. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the feminine Christ consciousness is also known as Sophia, and the masculine Christ consciousness is obviously Christ, Christos. In Greek,
yes.
it's Christos.
Beautiful.
And my son's name is Cristiano, after his grandfather, which is Christos. So my kids are sort of like an embodiment of the masculine and feminine Christ, and I didn't even know it. And they are my greatest teachers. Yes, I know. They are my greatest teachers, even though I sometimes don't even want to see the lessons, right, as moms, and going through our own journey. But so I was pregnant with Sophia, and I knew I was on maternity leave. I was like a month shy of giving birth, and I was on maternity leave. And I broke down in front of my husband. I told my husband, I don't want to go back to the office. I can't go back into that environment because I know it's going to eat away at me. And I know it's not who I'm meant to be. I know it's not where I'm supposed to be. So we decided together, it was a mutual decision, that I would resign, and I did. And this is one of the hardest things that I actually had to do, because it was very, very comfortable being there, and it was scary letting go of that. And then really, really saying to myself, I'm all in. I'm all in. And that's where my business began to grow. And that's where I began to grow and expand and just go deeper into my own spiritual evolution and growth that I had never experienced ever before in my life.
Wow. That is so powerful. What an incredible story. And I'm really curious, did you notice as you were going deeper into your spiritual work, was there a correlation with the, we'll say, quote unquote, success of your business?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Like, I remember one specific, situation I was facing with my husband. So this is going to be a bit vulnerable, but I will go ahead and share it because this is why we're here. That's right. And because you also work with, you and I, we work with wealth and with money and with helping people to expand into their infinite abundance. And for me, I was experiencing a type of intimacy issue with my husband, right? We are very, very close, and he's my soulmate, but there was just something around the intimacy, something around that subject that was not quite where it could be, And when I began to open up and go deeper into that, and I allowed myself to open up and go deeper into receiving love that from my husband, the love that he wants to actually give to me, because I was blocking that. I was blocking receiving from my husband without, consciously knowing that I was doing it. But then when I did the work, I realized that I was. So when I brought my walls down and I understood that I was safe and I understood that it's okay to receive and I'm meant to receive and I'm meant to experience this infinite and expansive love that you get to have with another soul partner. Once that happened, then another layer came up for me. And the next layer was, it was an issue about my parents and how they handled their money while I was a child. So my dad had always had money issues with paying bills. He was always struggling and everything was always late. School fees were late. And there was like a really not a healthy relationship with bills and with money in general. Although we had, right, we never lacked in anything, but it was just that constant month-to-month struggle.
Yes.
And this layer only came up for me once I had gone through the intimacy work around my husband. And then once I did the work around the money, around my parents, everything just shifted and I immediately got my first full, painful cash client. And that was for me a huge, huge breakthrough. Huge breakthrough.
Oh my gosh, that's so powerful. That's all about the energetics, right? It's really the things that when we clean up our energy, when we really clear whatever needs to be cleared, and usually it's not directly related to the situation at hand. Oh my gosh, all the magical shifts happen.
I know.
So thank you for sharing that. What we're going to do right now is go into commercial, and when we come back, I'd really love to have us jam a little bit more about how do we decipher between ego and our intuition.
Okay, awesome.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Life is a flow, and enlightenment is simply harmonizing with the way life really is. Then you find that life is effortless, benevolent, and free of all suffering. Hey everyone, this is GP Walsh, and I want to invite you to my brand new radio show that's launching right here on OMTimes Radio called The Flow of Enlightenment. I've been a spiritual teacher for decades, and my greatest pleasure is being able to share with you these deep and highly practical spiritual ideas. So join me in The Flow every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern and let yourself be transformed.
My loves, you know you're here as a soul-led leader to transform this world through the sharing of your passions and gifts. You are here to be in your warrior of light and align your business with your highest self. I'm Rosalind Fung of the show Activate Your Soulgasmic Business. Let's elevate your business to the next expansive level. I invite you to flow into a business soul alignment discovery call with me at rosalindfung.com. That's ROSALYN, fun as in have some fun, FUNG, and let's see how I can best hold space for you to align your highest self, magnetize your dream clients, and monetize on your soul mission. I can't wait to connect.
COVID-19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
Do you feel like your emotions are all over the place? That's normal during this abnormal time. There are a number of ways to cope. Maintain a healthy routine, get enough sleep, eat nutritious food, and exercise at least 30 minutes each day. Schedule some time to talk with a friend or family member. And remember, you can always take a few deep breaths to feel more centered.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
All right, welcome back, loves. So Alexia, I'd love for you to share a little bit more for those of us that are tuning in and it's going like, how do I tell the difference between the egoic voice and what's really our intuition, our soul's authentic voice? Because I find even sometimes, you know, as intuitive as I am, sometimes I'm feeling different energies. I'm like, is this even mine? Is this my ego? Is this somebody else's? Like, what's happening?
Yes, yeah, no, it can go crazy. So for me, I think, like, if something comes up for me and, for example, if I'm about to do something, like in my business, I always check in and I check in if it's in alignment with, you know, my soul mission, with my calling, with what I'm supposed to be doing for the day. And how I do that is by dropping into my heart and connecting with my heart light, my soul's light, and then asking the questions from there. That way I know that the answers I'm receiving are, you know, they're clear, they're coming from an intention that I've opened up to receive guidance and advice. But at the same time, things might come, like what you said earlier, like you're feeling different energies and you're getting different like hits, intuitive or ego hits, and you're not sure which one is which. At all times of the day, when you're not sitting and dropping into your heart and checking what's what, right? So the way I discern what's ego and what's my soul or my intention is that I look into the feeling behind it. What's the feeling behind, you know, the intuitive hit that I'm getting? Is it satisfying some sort of agenda? Is it coming from an ego space? Is it coming from a space of, this would, you know, bring in something for me? Or is it coming from a place of service? So service for me, if I'm in deep service, then I know that's not ego. Okay, so I think in our line of business, that really, really helps us to move out of ego and helps us to open up to intuition. That's my feeling, and with my clients, I give them the tools to be able to discern, and they do that by asking their intuition on the small things that they get to take action on during their day. For example, simple things like, okay, what color should I put on today? What color shirt should I wear? Or which sneakers should I put on today? And you just tap in and ask for intuitive guidance, and then whatever you receive, you know that's your intuition. So you start practicing. It's like building a muscle. You start practicing with the small, seemingly insignificant pieces of your day, so that you build that muscle and you build that trust, and you begin to like really hear and have a deeper sense of the tone and the sound and the feeling of your intuition. so that you can discern, more clearly on the bigger things in your life.
I really love how you broke it down to practical ways and how we can just start to tune in more. And I just got the download that that's what our meditation will be about today. So stay tuned, everybody. Because I do feel like that would be so deeply important if all of us could just trust ourselves and really have that voice of discernment. Maybe what we can do is also like, what would the ego voice sound like? So that we're clear, like this isn't intuition. I love that you said intuition. It feels like in service. What does ego sound like in, to define that a little bit?
Okay. So for me, ego sounds like, let me just tap in and see. So ego for me sometimes feels and sounds like there's like a rush, or like there's an urgency around something. There's like a bit of a pressure, or there is, it sounds like an I, right? It'll be about me, about the I. Whereas I think intuition can encompass more of a we feeling and a sound, that it actually picks up your environment. It doesn't just involve you. Your intuition will bring you into something that involves your environment and your world, whereas your ego, it's very much about the I.
As you share that, what brought what idea or a theme that came up for me was, how does that show up in businesses? A lot of people, and I'm totally one of these people, like when I was first starting out my coaching business, and you're learning about sales, and in the masculine world, it's very pressury, it's very pushy, it's very hard. And I was taught to close right on the call. And it never really felt super comfortable for me. Even though I was good at it, it just did not sit well with me. And as I continued doing my inner work and spiritual work, it just felt more and more misaligned.
Yeah.
And now I see discovery calls as beautiful, sacred conversations. Let's really tune in and tap in to see, does this feel mutually aligned for both of us to work together, and how best can I support you? Whether that's, yes, we work together in certain ways, or I, connect you with somebody who I think would be more aligned for you. And that feels so good. Like that feels super in service and not about, ooh, I got to close this sale. Ooh, I got to, get this client. That feels so gross when I think about it that way. And so the more I'm like moving into this world of just really being so aligned with my high self and spirit, that there's this just deep knowing, like a deep knowing to go, I fully trust that whatever is meant to unfold is exactly already written in the soul contracts, and there's no pressure at all. And what's beautiful is even more abundance pours in. It may not come in a form that you think it is, i.e. that client's going to sign up. But guess what? You get so many more referrals. You get so much more like right aligned people coming in, because you have really been in service. And so the way I love to teach about soulful selling has really shifted over the last couple years.
That is so powerful, and I absolutely agree with you that selling, for me as well, like getting on a sales call, a discovery call, it used to feel super uncomfortable. And then as I just started to surrender and started to just be in complete service of the person, the soul that was in front of me, and that I actually get to serve this person, and whether she says yes to becoming a client or not. At the end of the day, if I know that I served her 100%, and then I'm good, right? Then that's okay. I've done my job, whether she signs up or not. I've done my job on this planet for her, and it's such a more peaceful and humble place to be, right?
Absolutely. And it really takes away that nervousness, that pressure that
Yes.
I feel like in the
Yeah.
masculine world or masculine energy. It really that's not even a thing. Like, it's not even a thing. It's just like, I get excited about discovery calls. I think they're so much fun. They're very sacred. So, yes. And I feel like, I mean, this would be a really beautiful way to talk about, like, let's move into, how is it that we move into wealth energy? How do we create it? No matter what.
Yeah, how do we create it? No matter what. So the no matter what, I put it in there because there's so much going on in the world. And there always is. And there always will be. There always will be something going on in the world. There always will be some sort of, challenge or something in your life that's going to challenge you, and it's going to really either help you to, it's either going to call you forward, or you're going to buy into the old stories and, look to the past and, retreat and close yourself up. So the way that we create wealth no matter what is by, first of all, what you said, trusting, being in that deep knowing that the world is abundant, that we live in an abundant universe. We have been created by an abundant creator, and that when we are in alignment with our soul purpose, that abundance gets to come through. It comes through automatically. It comes through automatically as we do the inner work, and as we evolve and ascend spiritually and do the layers, go through the different layers that come up with for us each and every single day. Doing that is what brings you wealth no matter what. So when we stop doing that work, and we start subscribing to the fears around us, the fears of other people, to the stories of other people who are in lack and in scarcity and in fear and in doubt, when we subscribe to that, that's when we actually cut off our wealth, we cut off our prosperity, we cut off our own ability to serve in the highest expression of our soul.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that, because everything is energy, and where your attention goes, your energy flows. And so if we're putting attention on the fears and what's going on in the world right now, our body cannot tell the difference between thinking about something stressful versus being there. And so what happens is our emotions are going to be in that negative state. And emotions are energy in motion. And so at the negative is, I love the concepts of Dr. David Hawkins' map of consciousness.
Yes.
Oh, I love that diagram. It's so powerful, right? And
So
it's
powerful.
like, and to our audience, our listeners, if you don't know that, please Google Map of Consciousness by Dr. David Hawkins and go to the images. You'll see that he's measured every emotion and he's put them into a chart. So at the very bottom, the lowest frequency is shame. And that totally makes sense, right? Like,
So crazy.
It totally makes sense that when we all think about shame, all of a sudden a shameful experience, our body feels heavy. We all have an experience of what shame feels like. And then at the very top is enlightenment. So, most of us are aiming towards love, peace, and joy, which are flow states in the higher vibrations. And so this is where Alexia has been sharing about creating wealth no matter what is. We need to put our attention on the things that are bringing us what we have control over, that bring us peace, love, and joy, flow. And go ahead, love.
I was just going to say, on the chart, it's so interesting that the change from the destructive, energy and emotions, which on the bottom part, that shift happens at courage. Courage is
Yes.
the emotion that actually changes. It's the bridge to take you to the next layers of the. What does it say on the right hand side of that chart? Like the bottom is destructive, and the top part is
I know it as
what is it?
Like power versus force.
Yes.
So
yeah. Well, the same thing. Yes. So it brings you in power, right? But it's the courage. It's that courage piece that actually is going to shift you into the higher frequencies and the lighter emotions that your body just functions so well in. Just functions so much better when you're in those emotions. And I was going to share something else about what was it? Again on the chart, but. Anyway, if it comes to me, I'll bring it up again.
It sounds good. Yeah, and I want to say the highest of the low vibrations on that chart is pride, right? When I think about pride, it's like keeping our mask on, massive perfectionism, self-doubt. I have to look like I got it all together. But it makes sense that courage would be the first step in the high vibrations, because that means peeling off the mask, looking at ourselves, being open and vulnerable, and that takes so much radical vulnerability. So
sorry, Rosalind, just on that quick
note,
vulnerability and the courage. When I chose to resign from my 15-year corporate job, that took a lot of courage, right? And then
absolutely,
on the other side of that, I also had some backlash from family that, why am I leaving a job when there's so many people that don't have jobs, and you're leaving a secure and safe job to be at home and to work on your own business? Why? So I was actually almost feeling like ashamed and guilty of choosing my soul path, right? But it didn't stay there long. And when I finally realized, what, this is what I've chosen to do, and I am, I didn't take it to the level of pride of like, I'm going to show you. It was about me. It was more my own. I'm going to show me. I'm going to prove to me and stand in my true, authentic voice to really honor my higher self, to honor that, that my higher self brought this piece in for me so that I can actually realize that I can do it. And by believing other people's limitations, by believing other people's limitations, then we're just buying into the story again. And it's easy to do that. It really is easy to do that. But that's why we listen to shows like this, and we listen to inspiring podcasts of people who are changing their lives and helping others change their lives, so that we stay in that high vibration and stay
1,000%.
on track. Yeah.
And as you're sharing that, I also have a similar story. I took the very scary move to leave my successful psychological private practice and start a coaching business. And I 1,000% also can resonate with the fear of other people like judging me, especially my family members, right? Taking the risk to be disapproved. And at the end of the day, I really want to say, always bet on yourselves, because no one else is you, and no one else lives your life. And when we don't honor our soul's calling, and we're putting more importance and priority on other people's opinions, that's where that's where the suffering is. Exactly. So I hope that as our listeners are tuning in, they're getting inspired, who can resonate with this and are maybe in a place of stuckness, and bust out of that box. Bet on yourself. That's what I want to say. All right, my love. So we're going to head into commercial. And when we come back, we're actually going to move a little bit more into the meditation.
Yay.
Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organisation, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at OMTimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine and tune in for Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Linda creates sacred space for leading female luminaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. A soulful venue where guests openly share the fears and obstacles they've overcome, wisdom and lessons learned, and the personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic, soulful living.
If I could be you,
and you could be me,
for just 1 hour.
if you could find a way
To get inside
each other's mind.
walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out, and for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
All right, welcome back, loves. So before we go into our meditation, I'd love for you to share, Alexia, how, as people are tuning in, if they're feeling called to connect more with you, how can they, what are all the ways that they can connect with you, and how is it that you work with people?
Awesome. Okay, so I have my social media platforms. I'm on Instagram. You can find me at Alexia's Ripple Effect. And I'm also on Facebook. Same handle, Alexia's Ripple Effect. That's my business page. And I've also got obviously my personal profile. But I have I think that's the best ways to get a hold of me, Facebook or Instagram.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And
Thank
then how
you.
I work with clients. Sorry, Rosalind. I work with clients. I've got one-on-one. I've got a one-on-one coaching program, and I also have an amazing mastermind that has just launched. So I'm really, really excited for that.
Ooh, congratulations. What's your mastermind called?
It's called Led by Soul.
Ooh, goosebumps. Oh, that sounds amazing.
Thanks,
that's
my
beautiful. That's so powerful. And who exactly would benefit in being part of this mastermind?
Well, it's a women's mastermind, and it's for the woman who is really she's ready to come into a full alignment with her soul purpose. She's ready to ignite her heart and sync up with that full expression of herself. And this really, really just catalyzes all the areas of your life. So coming into that full expression, it creates a ripple effect. And that means if you have a business, your business gets to expand. It gets to receive the consciousness of your soul's light, your family, your relationships. It gets to just grow and grow and grow. And it's really, really powerful. And it's a community. So you come into a community where you create a sisterhood with other women. And it's really, really powerful to be in that type of container.
Yes, it is. It sounds very potent. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
So, let's move into our meditation. We'll go for about, we'll say anywhere between 8 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then you just cue me into, to come in with light language to seal and activate all of this.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much, Rosalind.
Thank you.
So as we enter this meditation, activation, I'd like you can close your eyes, settle into your seating position, or if you're lying down, any way is perfect. And if you'd like, you can lay your hand on your heart, because that's the space we're going to be working in. And we begin with the breath. So taking a full, deep body breath all the way in, filling up your whole body and then emptying out. And just receiving your breath into your body as a wave. Just like you are the beach and your breath is the wave of the sea. And you get to receive the in-breath and let go of the out-breath. Now I'd like you to take your breath into the center of your heart. Right in the middle there's a pinpoint center. And breathe into that space, that sacred space which holds the universe, which is the beginning of creation. Right there inside your heart, breathing in that space, activating your heart lung, bringing in expansion and space inside of your heart, feeling your heart growing and growing. As you continue breathing now inside of your heart, there is a pearl in the center, and it's a beautiful, shiny, glistening diamond pearl. And you're going to breathe into that pearl, and as you breathe into that pearl, it begins to activating with your soul's light. So just seeing that pearl light up now. And gently releasing and radiating its glistening light into your heart. This pearl is also known as your intuitive, I'll call it your intuitive drop, your drop of intuition. It's your, it's there in the center of your heart, always and forever. And you just get to return to that space so that you can hear and receive the guidance from your intuition. So keep breathing into this beautiful pearl, and as you're breathing, the pearl is growing and growing, and the light is getting brighter, and it's now beginning to radiate beautiful rainbow light. Feeling the rainbow spectrums of light now piercing out of your heart and into your whole body, filling up your whole body now with rainbow light. You are saturated in the rainbow light frequencies. Feel your cells. And notice that there is a sound coming from this intuitive pearl that you have at the center of your heart. Listen to the sound. What does it share with you? What are the truths that it wants you to know? About yourself, about your purpose, about your light, about your love, about your capacity to create your heaven on earth, right here, right now. Receive those tones. And feel them as they're being received into your whole body and all the layers of your body, layer by layer by layer, as they reach the outer layers of your body and into your energy field, creating a beautiful bubble sphere around you. And you now at the center of this, it's almost like you're in the pearl, you're in the rainbow frequencies, and you're receiving the tones, and it's like they're bouncing in and out and all around you in beautiful spirals. So these are upgrades in your energy field, they're upgrades in your DNA, upgrades in your heart. So that you are in tune with your intuition. You are tuned in, attuned, and not zoned out. You're tuned in, highly intuitive, and taking aligned action with that. And so it is. Rosalind, would you like to join us?
Yeah, let's all seal this in with a beautiful light language activation. Breathing in. Menekira koratia. Morakua morokoratia manenekia. Morakua menekia kiratia morokoratia. Berekira kia. Turotua marakoratia morakua manakaratua menekia morokoratia. Morakorati, korati, mananakaratua mananaki, morakorati. Just breathing into what feels most aligned for you right now, trusting that. Morakorati, korati, morakarati, morakorati, mia. Moraku, marakia, korati, manakaratua. Breathing in. And just breathing out your beautiful essence and letting this really move into your auric field. Creating this beautiful boundary around you, energetic boundary of your soul's essence, your luminosity. Noticing the texture, the potency of your energetic boundary, holding you, keeping you in high vibration. Anything less than love, peace, and joy cannot come in. Just bounces off and gets transmuted into positive energy by returning to Mother Earth. And so staying here with your sensations, noticing what you're noticing, breathing into what feels most aligned, most good, whatever good means to you. Just beautifully releasing anything that's not in support or serving. And then notice how you can keep a piece of this experience with you as this place inside, as you're aligned with your soul, with guidance, being connected with higher power. Notice what image or word or phrase comes up to support you to keep a piece of this experience with you, so that it may be a reminder for you to tune in daily. It may be that pearl, or maybe downloads that you received during this meditation. And then when you're ready, just very slowly and gently start to bring your awareness back into your space, wiggling your fingers and your toes, feeling temperature on your face. And when you're ready, start to move back into your space by opening your eyes. You might want to blink a few times. Have some water. Thank you, Alexia. That was so potently powerful.
Thank you so much, Rosalind. That was beautiful.
Thank you. So my loves, please do, if you feel called, go and follow Alexia at Ripple Effects and connect with her. She's very magical, as you can feel. Thank you, love, for being here.
Thank you. Bye.